Aloha, today we're doing another Hawaii GOP members interview. Today we're interviewing a gentleman who is actually an independent. I'm going to allow him to introduce himself and tell us a little bit about his wisdom and maybe some political goals that we as people can hope to achieve.
My name is Nesquali. It's a Northwest Indian name that I love. And it really touches my heart and soul to feel the indigenous wisdom of a people who were really flourishing because they had so much bounty in the food that they raised and shared with each other, that they would outdo each other by giving more than the next person. And it's a very beautiful culture that in the Northwest of the United States. And so that has taken body in my life to explore how humanity can function fully in a way that works for everybody and for all life on the planet, through being sensitive together, by noticing what we all can notice. And by doing that, what I found as a scientist in research in all the fields of science, in neuroscience and biology and physics, psychology and sociology, that when people notice, no matter how different we each are, we're each incomparably unique every moment, in fact. But when we notice the noticing itself, it's the activity of the noticing which unites the noun and the object of the sentence of life, and we actually can access our combined intelligence in a fully, wholly, heartfelt way. And it's inspiring because when we do that, we actually feel fresh. We feel like we're brand new every moment. And it's like when we were little kids. We were totally surprised. We didn't know who we were, or we didn't know anything. And yet we weren't afraid of being ignorant or innocent. We were lit up and turned on and thrilled by how surprising everything is. And so I've been training people for 40 years internationally, thousands of people in groups internationally, multicultural groups, by just sharing what we can sense and feel together as a greater body, heart, and mind. We integrate how we were when we came in here, how nature made us to be, and get us to trust that and feel it and explore it experientially together. And we access our combined intelligence, which is even more fascinating. It's like, going to the Himalayas or something and seeing how beautiful the mountains are, or walking outside and just looking at anything, even the slightest little leaf or any bug or anything. It's life, and nature is so miraculous. If we attend to it and care about it and really give our heart and soul to being sensitive to it, it's so inspiring. And when we're that way with each other, it's so uplifting. And to me, that's the real politics of life, is to be awake and aware together forever. So.
Well, thank you very much. That was excellent wisdom. And is there any other wisdom you would like to share with any observer that you feel is vital to the future?
Well, having a near-death experience when I was 4 years old, where I existed without a body, heart, or mind, with no boundary, I was timeless, I couldn't die. I was just this formless, awake awareness, like a mirror that receives and reflects what appears in front of it. But in the near-death experience, all that appeared in front of this mirror-like awakeness that I was, there was no me, no body, no mind, no heart, just this pure intelligence that was experiencing itself as omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient knowing without any object. They call it consciousness without an object. And I have brought that to people in these groups that I've spoken about, where by just becoming aware of being consciousness together, all the ways in which we've objectified ourselves or been objectified, all those pieces and parts fall into place in a new way. It's exciting and interesting and very meaningful. In fact, we feel more meaningful every moment together, and we feel more loving and more lit up and turned on about everything that we've ever known and that we could ever imagine to ever be. It's that vast. In the clairvoyant state, which has actually been studied scientifically, and there are some really masterful people that have been able to shift into that clairvoyant state, where past, present, and future are integrated together as a undivided. And that's why many psychics and mystics, they can't tell you an exact moment in time that something may happen for you, but they can sense what's true for you and actually guide you to find your greatest goal and what would be most fulfilling to you. By entering into this undivided way of being awake and aware in a fully embodied sense, so past, present, and future become a unity. And in that place, you can actually cultivate the ability to be all-knowing. And people talk about accessing the Akashic records and being able to know what the divine really wants for you. Why are you here? Who are you? What are you? Where are you going? What is your purpose? How can you serve in the greatest way possible? Because that's would be most meaningful and most rewarding to you as an incomparably unique individual. No one has ever been like you before. No one will ever be like you again. Everything that has ever lived is totally unique. In the paleontological history of life on Earth, it's just amazing. When there have been these extinctions, we're in the sixth mass extinction that humanity is causing and bringing upon itself. In every one of the extinctions, when it took maybe thousands of years for nature to come back, but when it didn't recreate the dinosaurs. It created totally new life forms. We're completely unique every moment. And when we really are in touch with that and we're sensitive to what we really are and how we really cherish and adore being, it's just like children. We don't want to do the same thing the same way every day, every moment. We want to discover and be surprised every moment together and surprise each other. When you watch like kittens when they're learning how from each other, playing in the garden, they're like pouncing on each other and trying to outsmart each other. They kind of start going this way and then they go that way, and the other one leaps the way they thought the one was going to go, and then the other one can grab the other one and pretend to chomp on it or whatever. We like to be playful like that, but it's harmless and it's beautiful. It's fun. We want to be, having a great time together, and so being fresh and new every moment and being tuned in at that level of sensitivity is very important. Carl Jung, the most famous psychologist that most people know of, paraphrasing him in a single sentence, he put it all together. He said, in the process of maturation, the individual ultimately realizes that they're indivisible from everyone and everything. And when more of us realize that, we have a chance of having a conscious civilization on this planet. It sums it all up right there. It's so beautiful. He studied the collective unconsciousness, how you can be all-knowing as individuals, that we can be wise and be able to share our wisdom and the delight of learning and unlearning. Some of the great mystics have said, one of my teachers said, all learning is unlearning. In order to learn something new, we have to be willing to let go of what we think we know, to be innocent and ignorant, to be humble. It's wonderful to be humble and to be unknowing. That's what meditation is about, is to make no effort whatsoever, and by making no effort at all, we enter into what we have not yet felt or sensed or ever known before. And in that surrender to that unknowing, we enter into a level of knowing that is fresh and new and beautiful and surprising and delightful, which is how nature made us to be and how we came in here as little children. So if we could have a politics of consciousness on this planet, which I think many people are working towards, all the most lit up and turned on scientists that I know that are really the most eminent in the field, they're very inspiring people in many cases. They're not like, no, just go and take a bunch of vaccinations and kill a bunch of people and make a lot of money. I mean, these people are not like that. They're like saying, don't take these vaccinations. Don't do all this stuff that is crippling you. Breathe the air, get excited, eat natural food, don't eat all this glyphosate, and realize that there's a lot of poisons being put into the air and water and into your mind through mass mind manipulation. All that's poisoning you. And so recognize what is debilitating in your life and break free of all that hypnotism. I have a project that's involved with how to dehypnotize the whole of humanity using multimedia and the next step in social media to make it accessible to all of us around the clock in multiple languages for free. So any time of the day or night, we can just click a button and enter into a commonly sensed consciousness with other people and really learn how to share this awakening together, this global mass awakening. So that's my politics.
Well, thank you very much for sharing, and it sounds like there's great happiness in your experience through improving consciousness, and I think that freedom is required for that, and without it, there's no path to improving consciousness. So it's a great thing that we all keep our freedom. Thank you very much for your insight.
Why did everybody fight for freedom? Why does everybody want to be free? I mean, free-spirited and free-loving, and when you have somebody who really loves you, they don't do it because they're required to love you or because you have to be obedient. They're doing it because they freely love you, because they love you just for how you are, every moment, unconditionally, hopefully, and so there's no conditions on your love. You are what is so beautiful about love is the communion, the unification of everything in the universe as an undivided whole liberates us if we just tune into that. And that's the freedom of love and the communion of life, and what really is the great promise of being in this country. Not being dominated by robber barons and tyrants and people that think that they have more, they're smarter or better because they own stuff and they can lord it over us. That's just absolutely criminal, and we've got to complete that story, and it's happening. Thank heavens, we're actually going to win this one. And we're going to have a great world with amazing medical technology, the med beds, the celestial chambers that can turn you back into 25, have every single thing that's wrong with you be remedied, and we can have free energy technologies which have been trying to break through for 100 years. We have exopolitical friends who are all rooting for us. They cleared out the guys that were enslaving us, that were hybriding the ruling class and dominating us. So they're all cleaned out. We're absolutely on our way to heaven on earth and an enlightened society where we really are living. As Teilhard de Chardin said, when we bring fire to earth for the second time is when we harness the powers of love.
Thank you for your wisdom. I completely agree.